As we are starting off this week, you might notice a little fog and maybe a little frost on your windshield this morning. I know.
Give yourself extra time.
Yeah, definitely, to defrost those windows. Let's get right over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick this morning, because Thomas, when can we expect some of this fog to clear out?
Yeah, I think the fog usually clears out about an hour or two past sunrise, in which we're still about 35 minutes away from sunrise, so still dark out there, still seeing foggy conditions, though it does look like it's marginally improved. If you take a look at my post from about 5 a.m. of downtown Spokane, you couldn't even see the pavilion with its lights on it, but now at least the skate ribbon visible at the moment. Of course, the pavilion would be off the screen. Towards the right, from this angle over downtown Spokane, yeah, very foggy, but it has slightly improved at least a little bit. But right now it is 30 degrees, and think about that. It's not just the fog. It's not just some frost in the windshield. It's some ice that are on the parking lots and the sidewalks as well. So be a little bit careful, especially on the untreated roadways, though the major roadways and highways should be faring just fine, even though temperatures are a couple degrees below the freezing mark from Spokane to Coeur d'Alene. Deer Park's at 32 right now. Pullman's at 35. Lewiston, one of the warmer spots, at 36 degrees at the moment. Still a lot of action over the Pacific Ocean, and some precipitation just passing through Portland right now. That is the band that's heading our way in just a couple hours. So I'll be timing out when that rainfall is set to arrive, but get ready for a very wet afternoon, not unlike what we saw from Sunday.
All right, well, we do have one school closing to report to you this morning. The Quincy School District is closed. If we get any more reports of school closings or delays, we'll be sure to keep you updated right here on Up with KREM and on KREM.com.
Today, students at Washington State University returned to the classroom following the winter break.
This comes more than 1 week after police arrested 28-year-old Brian Koberger. He is suspected of murdering Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is now at the school as students walk to class. Good morning, Brandon, and also welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Tim, Channing. Glad to be back. And this morning, students are also returning to campus after a holiday break spent with family and friends all across the country. Over the break, their quiet campus was making national headlines, and that's because over the break, we learned a man arrested for the murders was a doctoral candidate in criminology here at WSU. The suspect also lived off campus in Pullman. Students say learning a suspected murderer was a student here makes a scary situation hit that much closer to home.
It was shocking. And then when I found out his apartment is just right up in apartment land, that was like, wow, he was there this whole time.
I was a little bit scared, to be honest. I remember when it happened, and my roommates and we were freaking out. We just locked the door and we just kind of stayed inside for a while. We didn't want to go outside.
Despite this new information about one of their former classmates, students are excited about the new year. They say they're looking forward to being back on campus and spending time with friends.
You kind of make your own family here, and so I really missed that over the past few weeks.
The suspect in these murders made his first appearance in Idaho court last week. His next hearing is expected at 10 a.m. on Thursday morning. Reporting live in Pullman, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you. Well, the arrest of the suspect means the victims' families are finally getting some answers.
Steve Goncalves' daughter, Kaylee, was taken from him almost 2 months ago. Goncalves spoke with our Boise station and says he's breathing a small sigh of relief.
I miss what she meant to the family.
And she meant the world, the planner, the one who pushed the envelope. 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves leaves a big void in her big family.
Holidays, she was the one who wanted to do the gingerbread houses and push it, but she knew to make memories, you got to do those type of things. So we'll miss that gift that she brought to us every single day, and she was a little ornery too, so we'll miss that as well.
Kaylee's father, Steve, smiled as he reflected on her love of country music and concerts, and her love of her best friend, Madison Mogan, whom she grew up alongside and died alongside.
I just read a letter where Maddie wrote to Kaylee talking about their friendship, and it was powerful, and they were beyond sisters, because sisters are, you kind of forced to get along. These two didn't, they weren't forced. They were just like yin and yang, and
Kaylee, Maddie, and one of their roommates, Xana Kernodle, were stabbed to death in their house near U of I on the morning of November 13th. Xana's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was also killed.
I'm here for my daughter and Maddie, but there's two other people that are just as important, and their kids went through just as much, and their losses are just as real. Like, I was going to be required to come out and make sure that the story didn't die, and we built some momentum.
An unusually detailed and long probable cause affidavit released Thursday lays out DNA, cell phone records, and video surveillance investigators say link Washington State University grad student Brian Kohberger to the crime scene.
It was worth the wait, and they had a lot of evidence to show for that. So we're on the right track, and there's still a long ways to go, but it feels good. It feels good to be where we are right now.
The PCA also revealed one of the surviving roommates woke up to noises and saw a masked man in the home a little after 4 a.m. She told police she was in a, quote, frozen, shocked phase when he walked past her to the back door. 911 wasn't called until noon the day of the murders.
So I think that's a natural thing for girls to freeze up and lock up and, put themselves in a position of safety. And I don't hold that against them. I've already checked into the, could they have lived? Was it a slow bleed out or something? And it wasn't. So there's one bad guy here that I have to focus on.
Along with any possible connections, the affidavit also didn't reveal a motive. Because Kohberger was getting his PhD in criminology, Goncalves guesses he may have wanted to live out what he taught.
I think he thought in his little fantasy world that he was going to teach a class where he actually did it and no one had a clue. And then that gave him a sense of superiority. Like, you're getting your grades, graded by somebody who actually has lived this lifestyle.
The grieving father says rather than glorifying the suspect, with all the national attention on this case,
I hope this story here is all about these kids.
We have to remember to highlight the beautiful lives lost. He also feels he has to forgive the person who did this.
Otherwise, it's just a cancer inside you. And I'm not willing to live with that inside me. We're not going to walk around with darkness in our heart for the rest of our lives and have his name written there like a tattoo on our consciousness.
Morgan Romero, Idaho's News Channel 7.
We thank the Goncalves family for sharing their testimony with us. We will continue to bring you the latest on the murder investigation here on KREM 2 News. If you want more of our in-depth coverage so far, just text the word Idaho to the number 509-448-2000 and we will send a link right to your phone.
It's 7:09 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. One person is dead after a rollover crash in Adams County over the weekend. This happened on Saturday night. According to Washington State Patrol, the car rolled over, killing the driver. No other injuries were reported. And one person is dead after a camper fire in Kingston, Idaho. Idaho State fire marshals are now investigating what happened. Officials say the person who died has not been identified. Shoshone County Sheriff's Office says they're not prepared to release any more information about this fire at this time. In North Idaho, 15 subpoenas were issued last week to various people related to North Idaho College. NIC's attorney is seeking documents, emails, public record requests, and other digital records connected to college president Nick Swain. Early last month, the Board of Trustees placed Swain on administrative leave. Swain filed a lawsuit against the college. He argues that the board violated terms of his employment agreement by placing him on leave. But college employees say they're unsure what information these subpoenas will provide.